Hello! In this chapter I'm going to show you how to send an SMTP email using Java sockets. But first of all, what is SMTP? SMTP, short for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, is a TCP/IP protocol used in sending and receiving email. SMTP by default uses TCP port 25. Email works in a series of steps by using a domain, which is the portion of an email message after the @ symbol. For example, in the mail address bob@gmail.com, gmail.com is the domain. The domain identifies the computer network the mail is going to. When you want to send an email, your email application or your email client connects to a SMTP server on port 25 and it sends the message to the SMTP server. The SMTP server is like your local post office, which checks your postage and address and figures out where to send your email. However, the SMTP server cannot find an IP address by looking at the domain. The SMTP server must resolve the mail domain to an IP address for transmission of the message. It therefore contacts another server known as domain name server. The domain name server is like the internet's yellow pages. It has the ability to convert a domain like gmail.com to an IP address. The SMTP server sends the message to the correct server identified by the DNS called the mail transfer agent. Then, the email travels through the internet to a particular domain and its mail transfer agent server, from which it can go to a particular user's account. The user can then fetch the email from his or her account through either POP or IMAP depending on his or her preference. SMTP is a connection-oriented text-based protocol in which a mail sender communicates with a mail receiver by issuing command strings and supplying necessary data over a reliable ordered data stream channel, typically a TCP connection. An SMTP session consists of commands originated by an SMTP client, in our case the Java application that we are going to build, and corresponding responses from the SMTP server. A typical example of sending a message via SMTP to a mailbox is reproduced in the following session exchange. After the message sender, SMTP client, establishes a reliable communication channel to the message receiver, SMTP server, the session is opened with a greeting by the server, usually containing its fully qualified domain name, in this case test.example.com. The client initiates his dialog by responding with the hello command identifying itself in the command's parameter with his fully qualified domain name or an address literal if none is available. Please note that the hello command contains a single capital L. The client notifies the receiver of the originating email address of the message in a mail from command. Then the client tells the mail server who is the recipient of the message by using rcpt2 command. If successful reception and execution of a command is acknowledged by the server with a result code and response message, in our case 250 OK. The transmission of the body of the email message is initiated with the data command, after which the client transmits the mail message line by line and is terminated with the end of data sequence. This sequence consists of a new line, a single period, followed by another new line. The server's positive reply to the end of data as exemplified implies that the server has taken the responsibility of delivering the message. Until the sender has received that 250 reply, it must assume the message was not delivered. On the other hand, after the receiver has decided to accept the message, it must assume the message has been delivered to it. The quit command ends the session and both server and client close the connection.